Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The HNL
We
has
have ladies
taken.
watching?
I mean, it's
If I'd
like
known.
5%. You
If
have a
I'd known,
wife.
I'd have put the touch up my appearance on the camera.
You have a wife, Richard.
She doesn't
Uh,
watch this.
she doesn't know I do this.
She does. She knows I do this. She complains about it immensely, but um,
She's like again.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh God. Anyways, enough about the unimportant stuff. The HNL has, for the first time in 30 years, exactly 30 years, is gonna go down to the last day to decide the title. Which I don't know how to feel about that.
I think we're meant to feel excited, but
Yeah, but
we don't.
it's totally different. If we had three teams that have just been, winning out like 90% of the season, 80% of the season, they were just, winning like 10 games in a row, or being unbeaten for 10 games, then, maybe losing one, but then again going on a run. But no, we have Hajduk, who didn't win in 6 matches, with a chance to win.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I appreciate it's very close to the end of the season. I don't know how Gattuso's still in a job because when it went 5, I think even when it went 4 without a win, or
Yeah,
started going backwards and looking, yeah, what's happened to the managers who've gone? It's like Kroglan sacked, now in
yeah.
Moldova. Kopic, I think was the one before that, and then you're talking about going back to 18 years or something like
I
that.
mean, yeah, I mean, managers have gotten sacked for less. Leko got sacked after a loss to Osijek. Uh, I mean, before that we also lost. I forgot. I think against Rijeka, and then we played Osijek
Mm-hmm.
last season. But we had an international break in between, so it felt longer.
Yeah.
Dombrovskis got sacked because of a draw. So yeah. What else? You mentioned Kopic. Tramezzani didn't get sacked. He was just there for half a season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Gustafsson also got sacked. I think after like 2 losses.
Yeah, but not as long a run. I don't think. I think go back and I don't think even Korea had that
Yeah,
longer.
but anyways, title fight Sunday, 17 p.m. Central European time. 4 matches. First it was free, but then the Highness got attacked by every single living soul and Hajduk, because it didn't make sense, and they were like, "Why are you being cheap? Why are you being lazy?" And then the Highness was like, "Oh yeah, we can lend VR system from Hungary just for one day, this wasn't that hard. We could have done this before. We shouldn't have offered Istra. Wait, I was pointing at the Yoma badge. We should have offered. They offered Istra the possibility of playing on Sunday, but without VAR. And obviously, Istra was like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna take Friday with VAR, so something dodgy doesn't happen." But yeah, every match is gonna have VAR. Every match will be televised. Actually, Osijek Istra isn't known where it's gonna show yet. Probably YouTube. So you can watch the best team in the HNL fight for fourth place. uh, Dinamo and Rijeka will be on Max Sport, and Hajduk will be on their own television and radio television, HTV, if you're in Croatia, so you can watch 4 matches at once, as I will be doing. I don't know how I'm gonna manage that, how I'm gonna manage the audio, like how am I gonna prefer one audio over the other one, but it's gonna be an interesting day to say the least.
It's you can sort of it's sort of like just have a Zoom link really with just the 4 screens.
True.
Stream it,
But
stream it like that.
I mean, I'm kind of pissed that we don't have like Maxport didn't like on the first channel. Okay, show one game, but on the second channel you could have like a multi. What would you
Red
call it?
zone.
Yeah, like show like 2 matches or like switch between them every now and so. But yeah, I mean They'll be switching televisions. I remember in 2020, 2021, when Varaždin was fighting to stay up, I was just switching and we had also the second place battle where Lokomotiva finished second. I was just switching channels so fast, but then we had Arena Sports, so you just had to click up one, up down one. It was just a click away. Now it's a bit further, so you got to memorize your channel numbers.
Yeah, there's the chance it might be 3 bad games, and you might just click through and just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop and watch the news.
Or what other leagues are on at the time?
What's counter programming?
Yeah, but I mean, how did we get here? Let's go team by team. I think we're primarily gonna focus on the 3 teams because it is the title race. We can also mention briefly the 4th place race. Šibenik has gotten relegated. Maybe we can start with that. They've officially gone down. The whole talks about the point deduction was I mean, they got their points deducted for like a half a day, and then the Highness was like, "Yeah, Titanovic received this money. Fair enough."
Yeah, but I mean, it knocked the wind out of them.
Yeah,
I think it is fair to say. Just having the debate, having it there hanging over them, it has a mental impact, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And also their lifeline going by Osijek finding form. It just, yeah, they realized there wasn't any point.
Yeah, and they also lost to Rijeka, and obviously with the loss to Istra, they got relegated. But the loss to Rijeka was a tough one because they were, I mean, the better side. Rijeka didn't do anything except when Drucker and Fruk decided to do a bit of brilliance in 2 passes, and yeah.
Yeah, but I think obviously when you're in that sort of fight, you need favors from other sides, and that's it. I mean, they haven't got them.
Yeah.
Be fair. I mean, it looked like Osijek might give them a chance. It looked like Lokomotiva might give them a chance, and then both have found the points that they needed. And Šibenik, even if you're almost at the point, even if they'd won out from 5 games ago, you'd probably look talking about them still being relegated, unfortunately.
Yeah. They still don't have a license, I think, for the first NL because of all the financial issues, but I think now that's sorted. So in exactly a week's time, we'll have a confirmation of who has which licenses, and we'll find out if we're actually going to get a team promoted. I don't know what happens if neither Opati or Vukovar gets a license.
Well, the first round of license announcements are always they're in pencil.
They're just they're just there. They're like, hey,
we'd like you to sort these things out, and then they sort these things out.
And then 3 weeks later, they're like, hey, you haven't sorted them, but go on then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other team that knows its final place, no matter what, on the last day is Osijek. Obviously, had a bit of a scare, but eventually found some form, beat Rijeka, beat Hajduk, and beat Slaven 3 games in a row, and that was enough to secure them a 7th spot, which it's Slaven spot, so I know what they're doing there.
Well, Slaven are taking their spot of 4th.
Well, Varaždin is currently the favorite to take it. But the last day, obviously, Slaven and Varaždin face both Rijeka and Dinamo, who also need a win. Yeah, Osijek season, not really what it turned out to be. And I think you placed them 3rd above Hajduk.
I did. Now, I mean, I think when I was looking at this last night, whatever the winner of Points Total Wins League this season would have been 5th in 2021. So I was sort of thinking 2021 Osijek. That's my justification.
Yeah, fair enough.
and 24-25 Hajduk, clearly.
Yeah, and I mean, we also had the problem of when we were making those predictions that we were like, "Oh, Mieres is the main point where this squad is going to be built around," and then he went and stabbed Osijek in the back to get some good money. To be fair to him.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it with the whole season through under Goptelli. They never really played badly. until
Yeah.
Rosman took over, and then it's taken him 5 games or so to look
Get going.
competent. But
Yeah.
actually, okay, he's not a terrible manager. I'm not convinced going into next season at all. Obviously, that squad needs a big makeover in terms of who will be going out and who needs to come in, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, obviously, Jakubovic is very good at the stuff. He's proven that. But who's your second striker? Because Makovic, I mean, already seems like he's just getting injured a lot, which at a young
I mean,
age
it's an ACL
isn't good.
injury, so when he comes back, it's still gonna take a while to get back at the level.
Yeah, and it's not the first time obviously it's the first time he's missed time with that, but it's not the first time he's
Yeah.
missed
Yeah.
time. So that would be something you'd be a little bit concerned about. But I mean, they've got everything to sort out, and I'm not quite sure how much money they've got to do that.
Yeah, and also the problem is that they have Dantas, Pusic, and Hernani. Okay, Hernani kind of expected that he's leaving, but the other two, I mean, Pusic hasn't been getting playing time under Copitelli or Rojman, especially now. And when he was playing for Copitelli, he was being playing on the wing, which he himself said after Copitelli was sacked that he didn't like that.
Yeah.
So, and Rojman was like, "Hey, you're not gonna play at all. How do you like that?"
I mean, I think
But
Dantas has been the same, hasn't he? I mean, they basically kind of said, "Do you want to be here next season?" Not really.
no, yeah.
Okay, see ya.
We'll see if somebody picks him up, because Dinamo is at this point signing just midfielders. They've signed Dan Ljubicic. I think it was today. Not confirmed, but reportedly confirmed. Marco Soldo, Madragia, and who am I missing? I think there was also another name.
Well, I mean, they'd have the Bancic coming back as well, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, essentially they have loads of midfielders coming in. Ristovsky is most likely to leave because his contract hasn't been renewed. Telfer Catherine's contract will most likely be renewed. So yeah, should we go on with Dinamo then? Since we're on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Dinamo. Of all the talk that Lokomotiva will, be like, hey, we're not playing for anything. We're just gonna give the win to Dinamo. That stereotype I think it's been broken before. Like last season, Lokomotiva took points, and the way that they took those points was enough to justify them not being on the. It's not the Mamichera boys, please pipe down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dinamo has drawn to Lokomotiva this past weekend, and they had a scare because they allowed Rijeka to potentially take the title at Poljud, but we'll get to that because Rijeka didn't win.
Yeah, and I mean, they were lucky. Let's, I think, say that first off. Aside from the goal, they've had maybe 2 very good chances, one for Klenovic, one for Petkovic, both sort of central in the box one-on-ones. Klenovic sort of saved and ended well wide. Petkovic clipped it onto the post. But then Lokomotiva, well,
I mean, that goal
it's a
from
controversial
Gorica.
thing. Yeah, the goal is incredible.
The goal was incredible.
Almost as incredible as the offside decision.
Yeah, the lines. I've stopped trusting the lines ever since Gorica Lokomotiva because when I saw that live, I was just and the new angle the HNS released. If you didn't see that, it's a worse angle, but I think they mean to show that because everybody, some people were complaining that they couldn't see if the ball when I forgot who assisted Vasil, but whoever assisted, you couldn't see if he has already passed the ball in the actual screenshot because he's blocked by a Dinamo defender. But it's very tight, and the lines just don't look correctly drawn. But then again, with the system, they hardly look okay when they get drawn correctly or incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where obviously because they put a red and a blue line, they sort of just overlay them, and it just looks like that's the same thing, but to the naked eye, because it's not a league where they get in the little CGI zoom in, little
Oh, the
shadow,
3D, yeah.
yeah,
We're never gonna get that.
no, no.
Never.
So it's so I'm not convinced.
I mean, that also
I-
wasn't the only call talked about. We can
no,
also talk about the penalty on Sucic, which I think he does get clipped by, I forgot who again, but he
yeah,
does. He gets fouled.
he gets fouled. He makes the most of it, and
Yeah,
we'll obviously get on to other people making the most of it later. But yeah, I don't think there's too much doubt. There's doubt in the manner of it, but there's
yeah,
not doubt really in the outcome of it, I don't think.
yeah. I think it's a foul, but Sucic does his job better than Cacciavenda, to be honest. I don't know if you saw
Hmm.
Cacciavenda's dive, because
Yep.
that man. I don't know if he's been training for diving in the Olympics, but he should give it a go.
Yeah.
And the other call was Sigali's red card.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, it's on the line for me. I can
yeah.
see refs give it, but I think more so you don't see those giving us direct red cards.
I agree, because I think when you see that sort of thing given as a red card, because obviously it is sort of at the back of the Achilles, it's because there's like sustained contact, almost like
Yeah.
that, which for audio listeners is like consistent contact, friction going down, something that's actually raking. Like it wasn't, it was he stood on it,
Yeah.
and like you say, it's on the yellow red boundary. I think you see it given
Yeah,
as
but
yellow
I
more
think
often.
the problem again with VR is it's not a clear and obvious error for me. So
No.
but then again, I think was it for the penalty that Duja Strukan himself questioned? Highness released the referees, actually not the Highness, the referees committee released their views on the stuff, and they actually said that Duja Strukan himself questioned his own decision on the penalty for Sucic, so he
Mhm.
had to look at it twice. So uh, the refs we have, HNL, the only one. But yeah, fair enough. I mean, VR is there to help you out, so I guess take advantage. But that way, I wasn't never expecting a ref to be. Maybe I got that one wrong. Can I go to the screen, boys, please?
Yeah, I think obviously you don't get the full comms released often. And I think it's right that you have that ongoing communication with the VAR room, obviously.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, but like
I
you say,
mean,
it's not
I'll get to that.
introspection.
Yeah. About VR communication, Bertrand Lights I mean, Hajduk wanted Highness to release the VR audios from Varaždin Hajduk. Highness, I don't think they haven't given them, but they've said that from next season they'll release audios, but I think only to clubs.
I think we want the full 2020 or 2021. I can't remember which season it was. F1. We want the full communications between dugouts and VAR room.
Oh,
No,
like an
no,
F1.
it's not right.
Can you imagine that on the last day? imagine if Imagine if the manager can speak to the VAR room.
I think they may be shouting at it.
Can you just imagine the amount of insults Gattuso would throw if like Shibani got a penalty like that's like on the edge, or Jalovic. I mean, Perkovic doesn't look like that angry of a man, but I have a feeling that if things get down to it, he can explode.
We want to see a TV get destroyed. Let's be honest.
I mean, it most definitely will get destroyed by one sets of fans, and I also feel bad for the graphic designers that now for Hajduk and Dinamo have to create shirts, a graphic design to post on social media, most likely a video, and the organizers who have to actually, there has to be some kind of plan if Hajduk or Dinamo wins the title. Rijeka obviously has it; they're the favorite; they need to have it. But the other two, I mean, two teams are gonna be. If nobody wants those shirts, where are they gonna go? In the bin.
In about 5 days' time after the game, there'll be a couple that will pop up on eBay, and then probably the remainder will be donated to the third world, I would imagine.
Yeah, can you just imagine like going on a trip around the world? You go to Somalia, and all of a sudden you see Hajduk HNL champions 2024-2025.
What Timu crap is this?
Who created this shit? But yeah, speaking of Dinamo, I mean, before this draw, they obviously had 3 wins in a row. They beat Rijeka, they beat Dinamo, and they beat Slaven Belupa 5-0. I was obviously at the game at Poljud, which wasn't a fun experience at all. First,
is it ever?
I mean, it was last time we won against Rijeka. Finally, for once. But yeah, my track record this season at Poljud hasn't been the best. Only witnessed 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So speaks about the season, really. But yeah, I mean, Dinamo in that match, I mean, the slightly better side, but Niko Galicic, if Dinamo wins the title, if Rijeka drops points and Dinamo wins the title, Niko Galicic, just for that save on Bruno Durdov's shot, needs the biggest applause at Maximir, because up until then, he didn't really do much. I mean, he was suspended for 3 games after the red card against Hajduk last time, so he hasn't had much of games to play. But up until then, he didn't really have anything to show for his work at Dinamo.
No, but it's save of the season, isn't it?
I mean, if it wins Dinamo, if Dinamo wins the title, then it definitely is. If it's not, I mean, the nominees are good. Who did I pick? I think I picked Banic's save against Livaja's penalty back in the winter. But Sushak also had a great save against Piazza not that long ago. That's also in the nominations.
Yeah, nothing would be as impactful as that. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
as Galicic, but you know, you're right. I mean, it's a story of again, we'll get to it later. You know, of a story of Rijeka defenders. You know, you've got one Rijeka defender at Dinamo now,
yeah,
who has basically saved you the season potentially, and then we'll talk about Red Elliot in a bit.
well, we'll get to that. Anything else about Dinamo to add? I mean, let's cover what they need to win the title. They obviously need Rijeka to drop points and them to win. They can also win it with a draw, but they need Rijeka to lose and Dinamo and Hajduk not to win.
Yeah, it's basically. I mean, for everyone, it is just win, really. And it's as simple as that. I mean, for Dinamo, like you say, they can win it with a draw, but again, you're not going to have faith in
Rijeka losing and Hajduk not winning.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't gamble on that. And the trouble for Dinamo, of course, is that of the 3 games, theirs is probably the most difficult. I think it's fair to say. And that's not any disrespect to Slaven or Šibenik, but Varestin are just awkward.
Yeah, and I mean, they showed the last time against Dinamo, nothing happens for much of the match, and then Mitrovsky comes on from the bench and scores, and all of a sudden you're fighting to save a draw, which they did for a penalty, but Dinamo didn't really create anything bar one chance. I think Sucic missed, but that's pretty much it. They did against Valentin last time.
Yeah, and that's all you're really gonna get against them.
Yeah,
it sets it up for a very nervy atmosphere. I think, you know, if you're against particularly Dinamo, you need to get that goal early, which much easier said than done against Varestin.
I mean, it's pretty much the same story for everybody. Just you need an early goal. Just
I think it's slightly more so for Dinamo purely because one they
Yeah, it's
have to
Varaždin.
win, but two, yeah, it's Varaždin. Varaždin can, if they want to go and get 0-0, they will get 0-0.
Yeah.
And
The problem is they also need to win, most likely, because
yes,
Istra. I mean, Istra's playing against Osijek. We know how Istra fares against Osijek, fairly good. And Rojman just again, now that Osijek is safe, I have a feeling Rojman might rotate the squad a bit, maybe give a chance to a few youngsters, because the match doesn't really mean anything to them, because you can go up, you can go down, you can earn more money. So and I don't think the players will just be that motivated because the season is over for them.
exactly. And you might have a couple of players who they say will know it's their last game, and
Yeah.
if we know anything about Rojman, is he does like playing young players.
Yeah. And you also have Slaven playing against Rijeka, and that, I mean, last time Slaven beat Rijeka, and I mean, it's you can't predict the Highland. You just need to win. Nobody should focus on others. You focus on yourself, win the match, and then what happens happens.
I mean, the problem with Slaven is that, quite aside from anything, and I think I'm influenced by the Bosnian Cup final a couple of weeks ago.
True. Definitely.
But for those who don't know, that was Sarajevo Sarajevo. Sarajevo won the first leg 4-0, then rotated all but one player for the following league game against Sarajevo, who needed 3 points to get out of the relegation spots. And wouldn't you know it, Sarajevo won 1-0. And Zekic, I mean, I don't know if you've seen sort of what Zekic said after the game, but he basically said, like, yeah, I kind of didn't realise the fans wouldn't be okay with us kind of giving them 3 points for this. Like
guys, we have the trophy. It's right. Look at it.
Yeah, it's like I'm not completely openly admitting that we traded points, but kind of.
I wasn't expecting the fans to react like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rijeka can. I mean, David Mišković just needs to get on the phone number, but I don't think Mario Kovacevic will take it because he's most likely going to Dinamo. So, but he can contact the players directly.
I mean, I think they have the perfect excuse. Let's be honest. If Rijeka do win the title fair and square, then for the second leg of the cup final, the players will be hungover, and if they lose, you just say they were drunk, guys.
They were drunk. I mean, yeah, you have the perfect excuse. You also have direct links inside the players because you have Alen Grgic, previously at Rijeka, and you have Adrian Liber, who started his whole career in Rijeka. So you can definitely get some cash going, Damir. We know you have it. You sold three players in the winter. You have it.
This is why I didn't buy a striker.
He was like, if it comes to it, I can offer Liber and Grgic to, get some money and just move it inside the club if we need a win.
I mean, we should say we are completely joking, but
if
this does happen,
I hope you realize.
Aren't.
I hope you realize that we're being sarcastic, but judging from, I don't know if you saw the F1. We're gonna go on a bit of a tangent here, but I don't know if you saw the F1 drama between Jack Doohan and Franco Colapinto. Yeah. So we gotta be careful what we say, because we can go mainstream because journalists don't do their jobs. It's like a journalist in the HNL taking a meme seriously and writing a whole story about it, and then fans of certain clubs taking that news story seriously without checking into it, and then attacking a player or a club.
Yeah.
For my F1 fans, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're on Twitter. It's come to the point where an account that's the whole point is sarcasm and making up just lies for fun, they had to release a PR statement that that they actually made a lie, which it literally says in their bio and in their name. But yeah, back to the HNL. Uh, yeah, Rijeka. Should we go to Rijeka? Anything else to add about Dinamo?
I don't think so. I mean, like I say, it's going to be a tough game. The problem that we have is that we don't really know where the goal's going to come from, particularly against Varecine.
I just remembered Stojkovic won't be available for the match because he has 3 yellow cards.
Well, there you go. I mean, again, story of the season, just completely reliant on Badurna.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of stepped up now, not against Lokomotiva, but in the 3 matches before, he did step up. Anything else to add about Hajduk Dinamo? I'm trying to remember the match. I mean, the choreo was amazing. I was a part of my first ever choreo at Poljud.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a part of the last one when we had 100k members when we hit that because I was on the West End. I didn't buy the tickets in time. Stupid me. But the choreo, the atmosphere was great. But the game, Ivan Lucic especially, was
not.
It happened right, but it happened right in front of me, Richard. Two times I've seen Ivan Lucic make a stupid mistake right in front of my eyes. Against Rijeka, 2-2 draw, where he passes it straight to Jankovic, who just chips it over him. And now, where for some reason he decides to go out and do a Robin van Persie straight to Pierre Gabriel. And I don't even want to talk about the attempt he made after to try and save it.
Yeah. I'll skip it ahead slightly. This is just my wondering. Why on earth? Because it didn't, because it wouldn't have changed the maths in any way, shape, or form. Why on earth did Slomisic go up for that injury time corner?
Oh yeah, true. I was also actually saying no. I was watching the match with my uncle, and I was also why is he going up? It doesn't really matter for them.
Yeah.
A lose or a draw, you're not winning the title. You're kicking us out of it. Maybe that's I mean, you get a point, but it doesn't change anything. You're still gonna have to win in the last match.
Exactly. Yeah. It just was weird.
I mean, it technically matters because if everybody does finish on 63 points, that win allows us to be on 63 points. So maybe that, but yeah, I mean, it's just trying to get a point.
Yeah.
I think
I
at
mean,
the end of the day.
And even then, that still wouldn't change the maths of it because Rijeka have the head-to-head. So yeah, it just looked weird.
Yeah, but the problem is they have the head-to-head against Dinamo and Hajduk. But if everybody's tied on 63 points, then Hajduk wins it because of the mini league, where they have 12 points.
Right. Like, yeah.
Yeah, Rijeka has 10 and Dinamo has 9. Yeah, but Rijeka. I mean, where to start? Obviously, they lost to Osijek. They lost to. So since last time we spoke, they lost to Dinamo. Then they won 2 games in a row against Gorica and Šibenik, which were very tight matches.
Mm-hmm.
The Šibenik more so, not against Gorica that much. Against Gorica, it was pretty much not walk in the park, but more of a walk in the park. Yeah. And obviously the loss to Hajduk this past, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they got PTSD.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the clear things, and that's sort of why, obviously when I saw Radeljic, giving away a penalty, like, what you mean you're giving away a set piece that might cost your team the title 2 seasons in a row? Like, yeah, okay, that's not great, mate. Maybe it's just a suggestion, but maybe drop him this week. But I mean, there's such a weird proposition at the minute. And the flaws are so obvious. Again, they don't have a forward line.
No,
aside from
I mean, Frooks playing as a striker.
Yeah.
So
He's not a
If
striker, and he
yeah,
has managed to be quite good at it. But again, your part-time guy shouldn't be better than the guy who's meant to be your full-time guy in do your
yeah,
job. But he is,
yeah,
because Rijeka needs someone up there who's mobile, and
yeah,
Jock
and
ain't.
the only other player in the attack that's actually doing something is Juachra.
Mhm.
Like him and Fruk are the only ones that when they get the ball, something can happen. If Jankovic, Rokavina, or Petrovic or Salahi get the ball in that forward line, you don't expect much.
Yeah, I mean, they all can do something, but like you say, Juara and Fruit are the two that look likely to do something. I mean, okay, for Juara, it's kind of a bit like Sego was first half of the season. You know, he's getting it, he's
Yeah,
running, and he's making defenders make decisions. For Fruk, it's because he has developed this season into um, so who is a little bit better in those tight areas, so he's able to work a bit better in the box and get the ball off very quickly
yeah,
and catch keepers unawares, and everyone else can still hit him in from 25 yards because, of course, it's Rijeka. That's their main way of attacking. Um, but I mean, it's silly to say because I want to say you can't win a title like that, but they might.
I mean, nobody should win the title. Like, if you look at every single of these three teams, nobody should be in a position to win the title, but they are.
Yeah,
But it's gonna be whoever wins it. It's gonna be like, yeah, we're the worst. Suck it.
I mean they won't
No,
care.
nobody's gonna. Yeah, who wins isn't gonna care. The other two sides are gonna use that as a justification. Oh, you were the worst side to ever win the league.
Yeah, but you know, if the worst side ever to win the league is then in the Champions League group phase next season, league phase next season, not group phase,
Yeah,
then you know they're gonna wipe their tears away with 20 million euros. so
I mean,
so who cares?
nobody.
Nobody, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, Rijeka. They had. I mean, the problem is nobody looks like a side that can. I'm not confident in any of these three teams heading into last match day.
No,
No, I'm not confident at all. I can see every single result happening. I can see all three
they
teams
could all
losing.
lose.
Yeah, I can see all three teams losing. I can see all three teams drawing. I can see all three teams winning.
Yeah, I mean, Seven. It depends what they put out. I think that's going to be the really big
Yeah,
question. I haven't. I've obviously been at work all day, so I haven't looked at the news or anything like that. I don't know how much there's going to be pressure on them to say, "Oh, are you gonna just play the kids to rest everyone for the cup final?" Wink,
as they
wink.
did against Dinamo.
Yeah.
Even though Kovacevic said Danastrovsky had a bit of a knock, but he was saving him. But
Mhm.
the other players also some had a knock, but you know, we know it's keeping them safe for the final because it was the first leg. Again, with the first and second legs, I hate it, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But then again, Kovacic, who's in the running and most likely will get the Dinamo job, if you want to start off good, you want to finish fourth with Slaven, and you want to give Dinamo a title, and you want to be playing Champions League football if you're gonna go to Dinamo.
Mm, But on on the other hand, what's going to
You
get you
also
remembered more?
you also want the cup,
Being fourth or winning the cup,
the
and it's
first
the
ever
latter.
trophy.
Exactly. Yeah. You. I. I mean, it's a horrible position for Seven Blue to be in.
Yeah,
For everyone at the club because you know you. I'm sure they are focusing on winning the cup, and you know
yeah,
mentally that's really where you've got to be. You know, it's like you say, the first piece of silverware the club can ever win. That is important. That is historic. That is something that you know the granddads will be telling the grandkids in
yeah,
30 years. I was there, but it's now mixed up in this where And like I say, obviously we were joking about it earlier, but if they lose on Sunday to Rijeka win the title, and it's all absolutely clean as anything, and then next week they win the cup and it's absolutely clean as anything, there will still be a bunch of people with tinfoil hats
Yeah.
typing.
Yeah,
And there's no way around
there
it.
definitely will. The only prediction I think I'm confident in is that Rijeka won't win the double. So I think they'll win one trophy, but I don't think they'll win two. If they win the HNL, I don't see them winning the cup. Just because, as we said, they're gonna celebrate it
Yeah, as they should,
as
because
they should.
it's not because if they do win it, it isn't just the celebration for this season because this season,
No, yeah,
it's been what it's been. This is a celebration for the trauma of last season,
yeah,
and there are
and potential Champions League football.
and potential Champions League football, but they'll care about that in July, and obviously there'll be a lot of clubs outside of Croatia, who will be looking at how this turns out as well in terms
Yeah.
of potential coefficient changes. Hint, hint. -1.
I really hope that either Hajduk or Rijeka wins the title because I feel that's the only way those two sides can get into Europe.
Yeah. They do enter at a point where they can't not have a group stage.
I mean,
Don't
they
they?
technically can. They just need to lose every single round because they enter the second round of
Right.
qualifying. Then the
So they
third
can do a
round, they
partisan.
lose. Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
for those who don't know, Partizan are the only club to have done that.
Yeah. So don't do a partisan, boys. We're not Serbs, right? But yeah. What else? I mean, Dujačop has to start on Sunday. I just he's a. I mean, A, he scored against Hajduk now.
Mhm.
B, he's the most veteran player in the squad, most years in the starting lineup. And I mean, he's been here. He's won trophies.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you want anybody on the last match day who's gonna calm down the team, especially Jurukavina, Jankovic, Petrovic, maybe even Fruk is probably gonna feel some nerves, but then again he's Fruk, so I don't think it'll matter that much. You just want somebody that can be there as a leader, and Dujačop is, I mean, the best bet because you don't really have anybody else that has experience in winning.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you have to. I mean, for a coach, you have to then just look at how they are mentally before the game.
Yeah,
In this week is who's standing up, who I don't want to say hiding because that's not a very nice way of putting it, but
I mean, but
you
it's
know,
the truth.
it is the truth. Some people will be like, okay, I remember last year. I remember what went wrong. I'm a bit worried, really,
Yeah,
for want of a better term. But like you say, they don't have anyone else who's got that. I had to say winning mentality because it's really lazy, but they
yeah,
don't have anyone else with that.
yeah. That's the problem for Rijeka, especially on the last match day. And Rujovica sold out. It was released a few hours ago by Rijeka that it sold out. So and there's gonna be zero traveling fans. The Podravske Štuke can get a bus, but they're organizing a bus for the cup final to go there. But for the last match day, they're not gonna support their team. So Rijeka has also let the cage to their home fans.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not hard to sell out Rujovic, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, but it's still nice to see, anyways.
It is, yeah. I mean, you want the atmosphere, don't you? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's weird to see in a way. So I'd be like, nah, see you on Wednesday.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah, I'm interested by the Podravske Štuke. Imagine the Podravske Štuke get to see a title, and then in 60 years they speak to their grandkids. Oh yeah, when I was 11, I saw Slaven win the cup,
yeah,
and I had my exam on the same day, but I went to Rijeka to watch the cup final.
This is like you. I had my exam on the same day, and I went to miss the first quarter hour of Easter.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that.
This is why there's not been an episode for like 3 weeks. He's just seething at me.
No, I'm seeing at myself and my bank account. And my bank account that has gone down the drain. My mom was like, "How much money have you spent?" You don't want to know. How much money have you spent? Then I tell her, and she's like, "Yeah, you could have, you could have bought something nice at least instead of going to every game." And I was like, "Well, we can still win the title." I was saying that jokingly, by the way. Like on Sunday, I was going to the match fully prepared to see Rijeka celebrate. Fully prepared. In no shape or form could I see Hajduk winning. And then Livaya, with the big cojones he has, Panenka's Slomislic. And Trajkovski does the Trajkovski somehow. I mean, that goal goes to Anthony Kalik because how fast he puts that ball back onto the pitch with that throw in is just makes the whole goal because it happens 1 second after.
Yeah, to think last season he probably was just best as a ball boy, and that's it. Now he's superstar utility man.
Yeah, getting a pre-assist with a throw-in, a fast throw-in. But yeah, I was fully prepared to see Rijeka celebrate. But yeah, they didn't. Hajduk won, and now we have this outside chance. The odds are giving us like a 7% chance of winning the title.
Which is generous.
Yeah, but then again, in this season, what is generous?
I think, yeah, Hajduk obviously have on paper, the easiest fixture.
Yeah, you already relegated Šibenik, but the problem is Šibenik hates Hajduk, so...
Yeah. The problem is, Šibenik hates Hajduk, and Hajduk's away form is... I looked at it yesterday, I couldn't believe it. It's like 1.1 points per game is away from home. Like, what? That's just...
Yeah. And the last one is against Slaven. And what was before Slaven?
Probably the 23-24 season.
No. So we beat Slaven. We lost to Rijeka. We drew to Dinamo. We drew to Istra.
Is this going to be Jukirevich getting sacked?
You know what? Like covering back. No, I think it's also Šibenik.
All right.
Yeah, it's also Šibenik. Levi's bicycle kick, but that's 2024. So we only have one away win in 2025.
And
we can win the title, boys. We can still win the title with one win away from home, and we haven't even won at home that many times.
And I mean, even that Šibenik one, they were down to 9 men.
I mean, yeah, down to 9, but that last red card was right before the final whistle.
I mean, yeah, and before that it was Savinian. So you have won away from home four times this season, which is still not very good from
4 times
17 games.
Yeah, 17. I mean, the only positive we have against Šibenik is that for some reason Rakitic also hates them, so he just wants to score against them. But also, I don't know if you saw, but Sportska Novosti released that Rakitic was retiring for football, which everybody, myself, reported. But Ivan Rakitic took his damn time, like 6 hours, 10 hours after, like it was right before nighttime, that he was like, "Hey, I should probably address this, that I haven't made my decision yet."
It's probably well, if we do beat Šibenik and the other two lose, then yeah, I'm quitting. I ain't beating this. which I think there will be quite a lot of Hajduk players of that mindset, and managers and officials would be like, "Yeah, Broken duck. See ya. I'm gone.
I'm gone. I mean, Lovre Kalinic will most likely, if that happens, retire. But then again, I don't think if we're. Let me remind myself. Yeah, his contract is running out,
Hmm.
so he won't get it renewed. Um, but yeah, if it happens, I have a feeling that we could see. I still have a feeling that Rakitic will retire because he has some problems. I think with an adductor,
Hmm.
some injuries that he's been carrying for a while, but can play through it. But I mean, it's very obvious that if Hajduk is gonna try and pressure teams, Rakitic just very easily is played around
Yeah,
in the defense by the
which
other
is
by the opposition.
which is of course what you have when you have a 37-year-old guy there. That's just and
Yeah,
the I think that was always a concern just for him, even at his very peak, was that the game would pass him by,
yeah,
or the game would advance to a speed where he just wasn't going to be able to be as effective. But I mean, obviously, he's carried on at a very high, or at least an occasionally high level, to this point. But
yeah,
like you say, I mean, if you're Gattuso, if you're Kalinic, if you're Rakitic, if Hajduk win the title, that's it. Again, there's nothing else there to top
yeah.
that, aside from
Uh,
maybe going again.
back to back.
Yeah.
But yeah, another talking point is obviously Gattuso, who's, I mean, after Goritz, after the draw to Goritz, Gattuso specifically said the title race is over for Hajduk. And now we're still in it. He's obviously announced his departure. He won't be taking any money from the club. He said he doesn't deserve it.
Agree.
But but after the match against Rijeka, he said, if somebody offered me, which is a sentence that I've heard 1,000 times this season, if somebody offered me a chance to win the title on the last day, I think everybody would have taken it. And yeah, before the season, everybody would have taken it. But that's not that's totally missing the point of the season.
Yeah, it is, because that's not how the season has transpired. I mean, Gattuso's job at the end of the day is the same job that we've seen at Hajduk for last season,
Yeah,
for the season before, is that you cannot put teams away at
yeah,
all. And the amount of games is just one goal in it is ridiculous. I think I counted it yesterday. I think it was about 6 games all season where there's been more than one goal either way.
yeah,
If you can't get 2 goals ahead of sides, you're going to have a lot of draws, and that's ultimately what Hajduk have. And
yeah,
the problems, it's sort of slightly similar to Rijeka in so much as the same problems as last season, just they're a bit worse. You're completely reliant on Levaya. Yeah, was seen being okay. You brought Shego in to try and fix that, and he's not looked half the player he was at prior scene.
yeah.
Dudov is coming through, but again, you can't rely on a 17-year-old. Same with Brajkovic. He's not shown enough to be entirely reliant upon.
And I have and I have a feeling after the red card, that's it from him.
Yeah, and you know, so mentioned him before, Kalik. Kalik. This time last year, no one wanted to see him again, and that's
Yeah,
not me having a go at him. That's just because he is what he is. He is a replacement player at
yeah.
this level, particularly for a title challenging side. But now he's the guy I'm going to stick in every hole I've got. Phrasing, but um,
Fair enough.
yeah, yeah.
If that's how you view it, okay. I have a
um,
hole. Colleague's the man for the job.
Yes. So says Gennaro Gattuso, I should say. But yes, that's what he's been this season, and he shouldn't be,
Yeah, but he is.
but
I
he is.
mean, I've talked about it many times this season, but especially this year after going into 2025. Michal Žaper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, it's 100% that he won't play a single minute this season, and it's just sad because it's taken a year, and it's gonna take a year and a half for him to fully come back to football.
Mm-hmm.
And the question at that point is he gonna be any good?
I think there's two questions, which is, like you say, obviously the one way you're invested in the personal story of the player, where like you say, can he come back to the level he was at? The second question is, why didn't you replace him?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. If he has an ACL injury, and even if he comes back, even if he was able to come back, if we were like in January, we're like, oh, we can see him coming back end of March, start of April.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can play some matches, but still, you have 2 months, 3 months until then. You want somebody that can defend and let Rakitic and Krovinovic do their job, or Pukstas or Kalik, whoever you want in the midfield. You want to just let them do their jobs without having to think about defense, but without having to look behind them every now and then, just being sure that somebody is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
it's one of those where at the start of the season, and in January as it transpired, what you really needed was a 6-month loan of a holding midfielder. Almost like Babet's, someone like that,
or Radošević, who went for free to Istra.
Yeah, so someone like that, just to balance things, and again, that allows you to keep Rakitic going a bit differently. It allows you to be a bit more free with Pukstas. It allows you
so much more.
Yeah,
so much more. We could have seen a totally different Hajduk if just one player was signed. If we didn't get Bamba, or if we didn't get anybody like that we signed, if we didn't get Mlakar, who in the end played 5 matches after getting injured again, you could have gotten. And you didn't even if you signed Shego, you didn't need Mlakar, which in the end was proved. Despite I think despite his injury was proved. You could have just gotten, or Biuk. I mean, Biuk hasn't even played. I don't remember the last time he played. Thank God. I would rather see Shego try something, because when Biuk tries something, 10 kids give up on football. But I mean, you could have signed anybody. I would have preferred like Marina, because I doubt, I kind of doubt Varadin will let him. But if you offer, I doubt, if you offer some good money, I doubt Varadin would refuse it, because Marina is the age he is. And if he's just a 1-season player, for you could have gotten him in July, August, because you knew at that point you don't have a 6.
Yeah, you
knew that you don't have it until next year, until God knows what the expectation was then, because whatever the expectation was totally wrong.
And it means you don't have to rotate. Because obviously the position that's been hurt most by that is the right back position. In terms of we need to move Stigo, we need to move Higovic, we need to move whoever to fill a gap, and it's just looked like bad planning. I think that's
it is
problem.
It is.
It is bad planning, but it's just it's Hajduk, isn't it? It's just what we've seen for too long. You've had Levaya, who's the best player in the league, and you will come here, and through various seasons we've praised Fruk, we've praised Lovric, we've praised whoever who's excelled at other clubs. Levaya has still been the best individual player through that time in each season. I mean, probably even over Badurina, in terms of the pure individual talent. And there's no league title coming home while he's here. It seems, unless something very, very, very unlikely happens this Sunday. He's 31. He's 31. He hasn't lasted a season at the best of times. So
I mean, he has lasted this season.
He's lasted this season just about. This is the only one where he's not had a really extended period out. But
He has. So I don't know if people know this. I don't know if it's been reported. I think it has actually. I think I read somewhere. But I think before Gorica, somebody reported, but it's been known in the Hajduk circle for a while that Livaya has been carrying a slight injury, not a big one, but a slight injury that would sideline you for a week or two. But he's obviously been playing through it, and I think we saw the combination of that against Rijeka because he had to go off injured.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, he's carried them on his back for a few seasons. It's no wonder he's
yeah,
might have an issue.
I mean, thank God he only has an issue now because I mean he'll still play through against Šibenik, but as soon as you mentioned Hrgovic played a left back against Rijeka, and God, would you imagine he's actually good at left back?
Yeah.
This is his first game at left back at Hajduk, first 35th round. When I saw the lineup, I was like, when I saw the lineup, I was like, Gattuso's taking the piss. This is just. You could have done it so much. You could have done this so much earlier. You could have played free at the back. You had Uremovic, Prpic, and Ellis. Somewhat a good back free because you have Prpic and Uremovic kind of shielding Ellis's for defensive abilities, and you have Ellis who's very good on the ball. And then you provide that lineup, which played very well against Rijeka. I think we deserve the win. Even without Livaya, the players that came on did their jobs. I mean, we obviously scored. Trekovsky scored, so that's if you're gonna replace Livaya, that's what you want to do. Skelin, very good in the defense, despite being very young and making his first starting debut for Hajduk. Ellis, obviously, on the ball. I think there's a midfielder, a defender in Croatia that can, a center back that can challenge him on the on ball abilities. But everything else, not even close to the rest of the league.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's no argument that Hajduk deserved to win that game. I mean, obviously there was, like I say, I mean, for the penalty, it's absolute the balls of the guy, and it must be very difficult as a keeper because they obviously put where he puts his penalties, that map, and it is always he either goes to his right or he penalties down the middle. And
he's only gone to the goalkeeper's left a few times. I think like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think even then it's still quite central. It's not putting it in the corner.
Yeah, so it's not putting it in the corner.
So Slumsic absolutely did the right thing in terms of diving where he did. It's just, you've got to catch your timing absolutely right. Because if you go a split second early, he's going to just anchor it and you're going to look silly.
Yeah, I mean, the balls on Levi are just massive. I don't think there's any other word for it. Because to do that...
And then he dived. Well, he did dive.
He did dive. I mean, he stepped on him, but he stepped on Manolo. He felt Manolo not pushing his.
He had the hands round the side slightly, but again, it was a touch. Whoa, straight away. Making the most of it.
But I have a feeling that he dived because he felt Manolo's foot on his, but it was actually his foot on Manolo's. But he felt the touch. As soon as he stepped on Manolo, that's when he started to go down.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, I mean, like I say, you can't argue Hajduk deserved it. Rick didn't create loads.
No, I mean they had the chance, but Silic done a phenomenal job in the defense. That I don't think it was a double save. I think somebody blocked it, but Silic first saved it.
Yeah. And I mean that's obviously again something where I could have had issues in terms of having that consistent goalkeeping. As you know. But
it's not even goalkeeping; it's just giving the ball straight to the opposition.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think we have to be when we're looking forward to Sydney. Hajduk should win that. There's no reason for Shimnik to really play it aside from for honor and because there's a
Of the
rivalry.
fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because of the fans. But I mean, again, that shouldn't be enough. But with Hajduk's away record, you just don't
You
know.
never know. Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, if they win, I mean, it sort of depends how the order of things plays out as well, because I think everyone knows is that um, everyone will be on their phones. Let's see
Yeah, no.
what's going on
No.
at every other game.
Everybody will
And
have Flash Score or Sofa Score open or FootMob. Everybody's gonna have some app open or the live streams of the matches.
exactly, and you wouldn't be surprised, wholly surprised, if oh, what's this at Dinamo? They're deciding, oh, Theo Catherine's retiring. Well, we're going to have a little 5-minute ceremony for him at the pitch, on the pitch, just before kickoff, and delay things a little bit just to try and get that couple of minutes, so what you've got going. I realised that sort of we have seen that kind of thing before, and it was 86, 87. That was a whole thing, but it's that sort of trick, for want of a better term, that the FA are going to have to be very, very keen on, to prevent from happening, because everyone is going to be looking to get that little advantage, and you want to be at the end of the day, you want to be the last one to finish.
Yeah.
So
I think also the fans will definitely contribute to that with players.
yeah, absolutely.
I think Dinamo and Rijeka are definitely at the forefront there because they're at home, so it's easier to sneak them in. I think for Hajduk it's going to be a bit tougher because you're only going to have the away crowd, because Šibenik has restricted the homestand as much as possible. Only staff of the club, only club members, and season ticket holders, and I think that's pretty much it that can get into the game against Hajduk.
And Rijeka have an easier task in that respect because it's easier to chuck it on the pitch from their stands.
Yeah. I just hope they don't do it from the. I mean, we saw Olympia Ljubljana were able to do it, and even Hajduk was able to do it to get out of the cage and throw some players onto the pitch. But yeah. So what Hajduk needs, we went over Rijeka, but first let's talk about what Hajduk needs to win the title. So if everybody gets 63 points, which needs Rijeka and Dinamo to draw their games and Hajduk to win theirs, Hajduk obviously has to win, no matter what, if they want the title. So if everybody's tied, Hajduk wins the title. If Rijeka and Dinamo lose, Hajduk wins, they obviously win. But if Rijeka draws, Dinamo loses, Hajduk wins, Rijeka wins the title because they have the better head-to-head. But if Rijeka loses, Dinamo wins, Hajduk wins. That means the Hajduk gets the title because of the better head-to-head to Dinamo. And that's it.
Why aren't you doing a math degree?
This is the simplest stuff. I did way tougher stuff when I was virtually racing in F1. I was assigned as a commentator for the worst division in the league back in 2021, and it went to the last day, and I had to do some calculations. I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything.
Yano Watmir on the phone. No lover, it's not right.
Oh god, if he gets something like the Abu Dhabi finish in F1 esports or the Abu Dhabi finish in F1 2021, I said today in my friend group where I have 2 Dinamo fans and 3 Rijeka fans, I said I hope we get an Aguero moment no matter for who.
Yeah, we won't.
Because
I mean, I think it would be the most on-brand thing for this season would be we're in the 5th minute and someone, I want to say Agaponu, goes in 2-footed in the box, Slaven down to 10 men, Rijeka 1-0 up, very quickly make it 2. That's it. That would be absolutely on brand for this season. To have the most grandstand finish set up and it be ruined because we can't have anything nice.
Just like Porter decides, you know what? I kind of hate Gabriel Rukavina, so I'm just gonna two-foot him as hard as possible in the 5th minute as soon as he enters the box.
Yeah, I no, I'm being mean, but he does have that in him.
But imagine if it happens. The amount of stories Hajduk and Dinamo would conjure up about Agav Porto being paid by Damir Mišković.
And then in the summary signs for Rijeka.
Imagine that.
We need an enforcer.
They sell Salaki and they're like, we need somebody. So we got this guy for free. Shibrik let us have him for free for some reason. Wink, wink. But yeah. I mean, that's definitely the worst thing that can happen. Is I mean, for the neutrals and for Dinamo and Hajduk fans, not for Rijeka fans. Rijeka fans absolutely want this to be a landslide victory, as easy as possible. You want to score in the 5th minute, in the 6th minute, in the 7th minute. You just want to get the goal as early as possible. But if that happens, it's just gonna be such a letdown. Because imagine if Rijeka goes 2-0 up after like 15 minutes, and you have 4 matches on the screen. You're just like, what's the point now?
I mean, the point is that if this season's proven anything, they could let that 2-0 slip.
True, but I have a feeling that if it's 2-0, I have a feeling that Kovacevic won't be really going at it. It also depends on the other results. It also depends on Varaždin's result.
Yeah. I mean, cards on the table, who do you think is actually going to win?
Rijeka. It's like realistically, I cannot see Rijeka now winning the title. Like realistic chances. I Dinamo don't deserve it. I mean, Rijeka don't deserve it. Nobody really deserves it. But you're playing at home, 8,000 fans, the whole stadium, literally the whole stadium. Since some Volupa fans aren't coming, the whole stadium is for you. And if you ruin that, obviously they have the least experienced squad. They let us slip last season. Hajduk let us slip last season, but at this point they can't really let us slip because it's already slipped. They let us slip to Rijeka. They were like, "Hey, here you go, guys." Just like last season, we let us slip. Now, let's hope you slip. But yeah, I think if I had to put my money on it, I would just say Rijeka. But I don't bet, and this is exactly why, because I can see every single outcome happening. I can see Rijeka winning 10-0. I can see Slaven winning 5-0.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say Dinamo, and I don't mean that in any sort of disrespectful way to any side. Yeah, I think Hajduk have too much to do. I think we can rule them out.
I mean, they don't have much to do. They just need to win, but they just need.
They need other things to happen. I'd say Dinamo just because, like you say, the bottle of Hajduk of Rijeka is what is being tested here.
Yeah.
And we've seen that slip last season dramatically. We talk about you mentioned Olympia fans earlier. Let's talk about that away leg in the Beyond 5-0. They were destroyed that night.
Absolutely destroyed. Again, as soon as the pressure was there, they absolutely got destroyed.
Yeah. So again, what's that mentality? They have a lot of history to turn around to convince me, or I would think any neutral observer, that
they can do it.
That they're capable of holding on to this. They should hold on to this. They should be favourites to hold on to this. And if I was a bookmaker, I'd be making them favourites to hold on to it. And of the three, they probably are the ones that deserve it the most.
I mean, they're
But
first heading into the last day, so they deserve it.
yeah,
They're
but
first. They have the better head-to-head against both sides.
mhm. But on the other hand, it's Dinamo,
Yeah,
and in this again, we can look back across this season and how Dinamo have been, but with this sort of thing on the line, with who they've got in that squad, would you honestly bet against them beating Varazin?
no,
It's a horrible game to have as your last game. It's a
yeah,
horrible game to need a result in, but
but
they'll get something.
they're very good against Varaždin at home. That's
Yeah.
also the point. Varaždin has always been very tough for Dinamo, but mostly away from home was where Dinamo dropped points. At home, I think since Varaždin first came back, they only took points one time, and that was when Herrera was still at Varaždin.
Mhm.
I think it was the 2-2 draw at the end of the season. 34th round, 2021
Mhm.
was when Alesi and Herrera scored for Varaždin to make it 2-2.
So I mean, even then, we sort of say that's getting a point. Dinamo, I think whatever you say, Dinamo are not going to lose this game.
No, I don't see
Yeah.
them losing.
I do see Rijeka losing 7.
Yeah,
Or at least I think the probability of that is
it's
much
more
higher.
it's more realistic.
Yeah, the probability of Dinamo beating Varazin, the probability of Rijeka beating Slaven is probably about even.
Yeah,
But I think there's a very low likelihood that I think if Rijeka aren't going to beat Slaven, they'll lose to Slaven. I think if
you don't see a draw happening.
Yeah, I can see a draw at worst for Dinamo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it would be weird that we've had all this story and then we sort of go back to the start of the season. And then, hey, we said Dinamo would win. We were right. Well done, us.
We were right, guys. Pack it up. We were right.
Yeah. Just don't look at the rest of the table that we predicted.
Yeah.
We were right.
God, no. Especially the lower end where I said Slaven would get relegated. But to be fair to me, I did know Kovacic was gonna come in. I was under the impression that Rade was gonna come in and that Slaven was gonna appoint somebody else because I had a very good feeling that Radic wasn't gonna last, but I had a feeling they were gonna sign somebody like Ferencina again. Not Kovacevic. I wasn't expecting a Kovacevic comeback. But yeah. What else? So the trophy. That has been a talking point in the media. First, it was speculated that it would be a helicopter that would loom over, like in that central point between Šibenik, Rijeka, and Zagreb. But now it's confirmed that Marijan Kustic, the HNS president, will be in his car. Well, not his car, probably a HNS car, waiting at Bosiljevo, which is somewhat central. So if Hajduk wins the title, they'll have to wait like 2 hours around that kind of time to get the trophy. Everybody else will have to wait like an hour.
I will give some thanks to John Holden on Blue Sky, who I've said, what's actually the middle point between the three? And he got it for me. It's Plitvice, which is, I think, is almost a bit of poetry there, really. I think it's kind of makes sense because geography works. But yeah, put a helicopter there.
Yeah.
But if they ain't springing for VAR, they ain't springing for helicopters.
Yeah. But I can just imagine. I made a meme where.
Oh no.
Because because I can just imagine that it says in the HNS in the report they released today, or not the report, but like when everything is sure, Kostic will go to the city that the winner is in, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, really sure? Like, is he gonna wait for the matches to end, or is he gonna be like a minute before, like, oh yeah, Rijeka's winning, this is it? Dinamo's drawing, Hajduk's winning, and then all of a sudden, Slaven Belupo, 99th minute, equalize, Hajduk wins it. Shit, turn the car around. So he's gonna have to do an illegal U-turn or take a wrong exit to.
Just a big police escort.
Highness the Highness also said they might film it.
Oh wow. So the
they're probably gonna have
could
drones.
be gone in 60 seconds.
But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day where I hope we'll get where I'll get to create a graphic for, like, let's say, like, there's 6 goals in between all 3 games, and for every goal and every minute that it's scored in, I can just put like a graphic of how the table looked when that goal went in, so we can see the drama as it unfolds.
For it to be made redundant 10 seconds later.
Yeah. But I really do hope for, I mean, not as a Hajduk fan. I mean, if it happens for us, I hope. But as a neutral fan that wants the HNL to, be viewed globally, I want an Aguero moment. I want something to happen in the last minute, whether it to be to win the title or take the title away from somebody. Because imagine if Dinamo's winning, Rijeka's drawing to Slaven. Doesn't matter what Hajduk's doing, but Varaždin, Dimitar Mitrovski takes the ball and just unleashes a 30-yard screamer in the 96th minute. And it's
maybe this is it. Actually, I've worked it out why Slomisic went up. He was practicing his Jimmy Glass.
He's gonna imagine. I don't know if you saw not that long ago. It was like a few months ago that an African goalkeeper went up for a corner and scored a bicycle kick at the end of the box. Yeah, if we get that, yeah, there's no, you can't top that. But I mean, we can also mention the battle for 4th place. Who's your favorite there?
I mean, Istra aren't playing any side in mid nonsense, so probably Istra at this point. I think they're in the best form of the bunch of them. I think it's fair to say. And
yeah, they haven't lost, but Varaždin also hasn't lost. But the problem is they need what's their head-to-head against Varaždin? Because if Varaždin draws and Istra wins, they'll be tied on points.
Let's be honest.
I mean, I know there's 2 draws at least. Oh, Varaždin has the better head-to-head because they won at the start of the season. The other 3 matches are 0-0.
That's typical Varaždin experience, isn't it?
There was only 1 goal in between the 4 matches. Fair enough, boys. If you don't want to play football, just don't play. But yeah, so they need Varaždin to lose.
Yes, and it all may be made redundant as well because of the cup. But we should also mention, obviously you hinted at before, there will be a very, 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 very likely be another final day title decider as well.
Opatija Vukovar still right there, still following each other. Vukovar dropped points, I think, not that long ago, which Opatija used to get closer or even overtake them. I forgot.
Yeah.
But
as it stands, it's 1 point between the two. So Vukovar.
Yeah.
But
Vukovar is top. Oh yeah, Opatija lost, Vukovar won, and then Vukovar dropped points, and Vukovar is now back into 1 point.
Yeah.
Just 1 point off.
Obviously, Vukovar host Opatija final game of the season. And let me tell you right now, if you are a betting person, you would be betting on Opatija winning and Ivo Vajca scoring from about 40 yards.
Yeah.
That
most likely.
That is poetry.
Imagine if we get a better final day there than in the HNL. Like in the HNL, it's just Rijeka 5-0 victory against Slaven. Yeah, it's not unlikely. Vukovar, I reported on Twitter a week ago, I think now, that they are in talks with Sibalia to get the stadium at Vinkovci if they're promoted.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they've been close and they've been going for it for a while as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, I think the romantic in me wants to see Weitzer.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to see him because he's gonna what if he scores one goal in the HNL, it's gonna be what it's gonna be a screamer most likely from
Yeah,
a free kick.
I
But
think we should say because obviously you mentioned about save of the season, goal of the season, but I think we might have seen that. I think that might have been Croatian this past weekend.
I mean,
Because it was a brilliant move. Obviously, it got cleared away to him, but the back to front, the move to lead up to
yeah,
that was just chef's kiss.
yeah. The problem I have with the votes for best player of the season, especially for the best player of the season. Why allow that vote to happen now? I mean, it's gonna
Mhm.
close. It's gonna close. I think it's gonna close on the last day, either before the matches or after the matches, like right after. So, and I think the player of the season depends a lot on who you choose there, because you have Livaya, Fruk. You don't have a Dinamo player, but you have Grgic, Mitrovski, and Mudražija. So let's say Dinamo wins the title. Livaya and Fruk obviously have had the two best seasons in the league, the two best players this season. But for example, Mudražija has scored 14 goals for Lokomotiva. Grgic has 14 goal contributions, seven goals and assists. Might even add another. They might even add another. But obviously, if Rijeka wins it, then it has to be Fruk. If Hajduk wins it somehow, it has to be Livaya.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Awards that end before the end of the season are a bit of a nonsense, particularly
Yeah,
because we have it in Scotland. They give the awards a couple of weeks before the end of the season when the playoffs are still going on. If
yeah,
you are the manager of a smaller side in playoffs and you get promoted, that's automatically a better achievement than probably whatever the person who got manager of the season was voted manager of the season for.
Zipor, yeah,
So it's a bit of a nonsense like that, but
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would still give it to it, but obviously, I think we'd like to maybe see Rijeka win it and then they give it to the Via and then you just have Holland Trophy.
Yeah.
Full angry face. I don't want to be here.
I mean, I think Livaya will win it because it's a huge part of the votes are from the public, and obviously, Kaido fans will mobilize and have already voted definitely for Livaya.
What you're saying is
Uh,
about as legitimate as F1 driver of the day.
exactly, exactly. Goal of the season. I mean, you said Gorichan, but I mean, Jagosic's goal for me is just against Osijek is just.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get better than that. I mean, Levia's bicycle kick is pretty close. Karacic's free kick is right there. Hernani's finish also is pretty good, but I don't think it's, compared to the others.
There's a variety, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's one of those where we could have picked 5 really spectacular long distance strikes, but what about
So you have Levi's bicycle kick, Levi's goal against Osijek, one of the best, one of the best technical goals of this season, because he chests it down and immediately, without a second going past, immediately pokes it.
Yeah.
Which is for people who haven't played football I mean, unimaginable to do that kind of thing. But I think Jagosic's goal just because.
I agree.
But yeah, I actually picked. I'm actually looking at my votes here. I actually picked Sushak's save against Piazza when Dinamo won 2-1 when Kanga missed the penalty. Piazza had a brilliant. I think he brilliantly put it onto his right after a dribble, and then Sushak just tipped it over the bar.
It's Galicic if they win the title.
I'm actually pissed that Galicic isn't in it. He's actually not in the 5 choices, which I mean. Still, even if Dinamo doesn't win it, that's a huge save because it's the biggest game of Croatian football and the biggest, it's right before the end of the season. It matters the most to both sides.
That's the
That's whoever.
goalkeepers union saying we're not having no defenders winning this here. Come on.
Yeah, they unionized before the votes. They were like, "You're not putting Galicic in there." They were like outside of the highness. You're not putting Niko Galicic in the choices. Okay, understood.
But it's really popular. Yeah, but you'll probably win.
Yeah, that's why I'll probably win. Let us have some kind of happiness in our lives.
If he wants an award, let him score from 40 yards.
Let him go back to Rijeka so he can shoot again.
Yeah.
Give him the award for last season's free kick in the cup against Rudish. And manager of the season, who would you pick? They have Kovacic, Garcia, and Jalovic.
Well, I mean, I think that one's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, it's obviously Kovacic, but at the same time, you could make an argument for Garcia, but he's not been there a full season.
He's only been there for half a season, not even half.
You can't give him that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think there's.
And Jalovic is, if Rijeka wins it, it's justified.
Well, exactly. But I mean, again, you say that it's like, oh, who are we going to make manager of the season in Scotland? Brendan Rodgers. What's he done? You know,
he won the league with the best side.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
but same. Then again, Rijeka isn't the best side, but yeah.
They aren't, but I mean, it's obviously
in the way they've done
expectations,
it.
Yeah.
In the way they've done
expectations, rather than meeting expectations. And let's be honest, by getting 65 points at most, neither Jalovic or Gattuso or the vast myriad hordes that have managed Dinamo have met expectations.
Imagine if they put 5 Dinamo managers together. They're like, you can vote for Bjelica,
the human
Jakirovic. Jakirovic. Who am I missing? Is it 5? Cannavaro, Perkovic,
Bjelica. It's 4.
Bjelica, Cannavaro, Jakirovic, Perkovic. Oh, it's actually 4, not 5.
Yeah. But
I
tries, to be fair.
One. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a wild day, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of the episode. God knows what's gonna happen. I've said Rijeka wins it. If I had to bet on it, Richard has said Dinamo. So let's hope we jinxed it both. So it's Hajduk. The problem is, if Hajduk wins it, I'm gonna be in Ploče on Sunday. So if we win it, I'm gonna have to go to Split. I don't know how I'm gonna go to Split, but if I have to walk, I'll walk.
Steal a boat.
I actually have a boat. I can go by boat.
What are you saying? You're gonna walk?
But it's gonna take. But it's gonna take so long. I might just be on the side of the road with my Hajduk scarf. Somebody take me, please.
I mean, take me with you. I don't think you probably need to go to Split. I think the party would be everywhere, wouldn't it?
It would, but you want to be in Split if Hajduk wins it.
Yeah, well, it'd be one of those where it's like, you know, coming home from Russia in 2018. It would be that style of thing. You know, not necessarily on the day, but 2 days later, you've got
the day later. No, not 2 days. The day later. You think Torcida can
organize it for?
You think Torcida can wait? Torcida's gonna organize it itself. They're gonna force the players to come out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, you either come out with the trophy or we take your family hostage. You pick or choose.
Gattuso might nick your boat to travel across the Adriatic. That right?
Imagine, like, the last game of the season, Hajduk wins and he's just like, my job is done, goes to Italy.
Yeah. I mean, that is actually what he is going to do.
Yeah, that's most likely going to happen. But if we don't win the title, that's gonna happen. It's just gonna be like he won't even go back to Split. It's gonna be like Mourinho after the Champions League final, just can't even look the players in the eyes, and it's just gonna leave immediately. Except this time, it's not because he won something; it's because he won nothing.
Just runs out, steals a jet ski.
Traitedly. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you after this season is over.
Potentially when Lover is sober. If we have both jinxed them. That might be next season.
Well, I'll just come back in July absolutely hammered and be like, I haven't stopped since May. Love it, but Hajduk lost the title. That's what I mean. But yeah, thank you for listening or watching. And yeah, we'll see you after one of the craziest and most interesting seasons in modern times of the HNL. Bye bye.